Her silence is not empty, it speaks in constellations. When she lowers her lashes, night itself bows in reverence. There is a hush in the air, a softness unseen, as if the desert wind pauses, listening to secrets. She never utters aloud. I have watched her in moments where the world grows still, where words would only be intruders, and in that sacred quiet something glimmers, not of gold nor of jewels, but the tender glitter of stars dusting the chambers of her heart. There are people who burn like suns, loud and blazing, but she is the twilight between breaths, a hidden galaxy folded beneath the hush of her lips. When she is silent, she is not absent. She is entire universes held gently behind her eyes. I have asked the night once, how can silence wear beauty like perfume? How can quiet hold divinity the way temples hold prayer? And the night replied, she is the answer to questions the sky cannot speak. Her silence has footsteps softer than dawn. It does not demand, it does not beg. It simply exists like a whispered promise, a dream resting in the palm of fate's hand. Some chase words, searching for meaning, but I have learned to read what she does not say, the curve of her breath, the stillness of her shoulders, the pause before she smiles, each gesture an unwritten verse. There are nights I sit beneath the dim glow of lamps, wishing I could gather her hush like poetry and scatter it across pages so the world may know that silence is not emptiness. It is a love letter wrapped in moonlight. If the stars ever fall from the sky, I know where they will land, in the cradle of her quiet, where stardust hides not in fear, but in gentle secrecy, waiting to glow when someone worthy listens. I have touched her silence once, not with hands, but with presence, and in that moment I knew her unspoken is more beautiful than 1,000 spoken declarations. The moon envies how her silence steals hearts without a word, and even the desert falcon bows his wings in respect when her quiet covers the earth like evening prayer. Some think love is loud, but the secret is softer than breath. It is found in pauses, in glances, in the unsent letters of the soul. And if ever the world asks me where the stars go when they are tired of shining, I will tell them they rest between the spaces of her silence, curled like shy wishes beneath her tongue. There are moments when I sit beneath the hush of night, tracing the memory of her presence like calligraphy, written with the ink of longing. Even the stars lean closer to listen. When silence speaks in her name, some women are storms, some are songs, but she is the breath held between both, a lullaby unspoken, a tempest tamed by grace. When she walks through the world, she carries a quiet aura around her. Not walls, not distance, but a celestial softness that keeps the noise of the world at bay. I've seen voices break against her silence, like waves trying to carve stone, yet she remains untouched. A sculpture of stillness carved by destiny itself. They do not know. Her silence is not the absence of words, but the presence of galaxies. Each pause in her breath is a star unborn, each glance a comet passing through the night of the soul. Sometimes I imagine the sky was created in the image of her quiet, infinite, mysterious, and full of distant lights that flicker like half-remembered dreams. I've tried to speak her silence once, but language is a poor instrument. Words tremble and fall apart when faced with something so divine. So I listen instead, with the patience of sand listening to the wind. Oceans roar, cities shout, but her hush is louder than both. Not in sound, but in meaning. There are people who wait for her to speak, not knowing she already has, in the tilt of her head, in the cadence of her stillness, in the starlight that hides beneath the shadows of her unspoken thoughts. Even the moonlight lingers on her shoulders, as if it too seeks sanctuary. In the harmony of her calm, when she is silent, she is not alone. She is in conversation with the constellations. The universe listens when she says nothing, for in every breath she holds, the language of creation itself, I have found myself imagining what prayers sound like when she is quiet. Perhaps they rise not as words, but as shimmering particles of stardust, drifting through her veins like hope. And when sadness touches her, she doesn't cry storms. She folds into stillness, letting the stars inside her cradle her pain. Until it becomes light once more, there is a romance in her silence, that poet's envy, a rhythm in her quiet, that songwriter's chase in vain. Even love approaches her gently, removing its shoes, before stepping into the sanctuary of her wordless peace. I have seen her smile without sound, and the world briefly forgot its hunger for noise. In that moment I knew not every symphony is played with instruments. Some are born in the hush of a soul that carries galaxies within. If ever I could place my heart beside the calm of her being, I know it would rest there, like a tired bird finding refuge in the silver cradle of night. And I would not ask her to speak, for even her silence says, I am here, and somewhere in my stillness you are heard.